Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Alex. Yeah, I thought I'd do this video a little bit different, and then as I'm showing the cover sheet. Um, so yeah, armor, 150 on that front plate right there, and then 80 around the sides, and then we got 185 on the front of the turret, and then what is it? 80 around. So pretty much, this thing's a good side scraper. Gonna go ahead and tell you that's a good side scraper. One of the best assets to it is it does 60 kilometers, but it'll do 55 normally on flat ground. Um, yeah, it has zero gun depression when you're facing forward, but all German tanks, if you look left, that are, if they're the E-50 or E-50M, have a good ability, which I'm going to show you on hills. So gun, this is with the 105, not the tier 9 8.8. This thing actually has 250 pin and it does 390 damage, which is pretty good. 250 pretty much means I can pin the bottom plate on pretty much everything except for a couple tier 10 heavies, which is like the mouse. I can't pin the bottom plate unless I want to use silver or use a premium round. So this is a god room. You can see that there's not that many tier 9s. And it's, I didn't expect it to be that good. Usually this tank actually doesn't perform the best on hills, but if you guys go down this line and you guys like the Panther, which most people say, the Panther's awful. The worst part about the Panther is that it's very accurate 75 millimeter that'll pin pretty much anything, but it just doesn't do enough damage. It does like a 200 a shot, which is kind of like a light tank, but I actually got my first mark of excellence with the Panther, so I don't know what people are talking about. It also had good maneuverability. As you go up this line, though, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that this particular tank right here loses its maneuverability, so it's definitely a candidate for having, anything that makes you spin and rotate quicker. After I get my snapshot and I get a couple other get tracked here. So somebody came onto my video and was like, the T-44, don't ever use the 122 millimeter on it. And I made this clip I wanted to add in real quick to go proof against proof. So this is a tier 9 lobby heavy one, and if I was using the 105, there's no way I would possibly be able to even pin this guy in this VKB. But you're going to see here, no premium shell, 175 pin alpha damage, blowing the turret off of one of the most heavily armored tanks. Just to show you, it's got, if you're using a big gun, with a slow reload, you got to use it like that. It means you don't want it, you're going to become a sniping tank and not a medium, circling machine. In that particular case, it works really good. It's one of my favorite tanks to go up against higher tiers. I think I've gotten more medals of killing higher tiers with that tank than any other. So back into this game, if you look on the barrel, I do not have the Mark of Excellence. I'm going to get the Mark of Excellence in this game, which is pretty cool. So talk about some other things. I don't use it in this, but I'm going to go ahead and say that the high explosive round on the German tank is it's okay, but it's not quite as good as Soviet. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I found out that the standard round, it uses like a tungsten core, which is just, crazy. It's why when this thing hits, it says 390, but if you look in this, I actually get plus I think 50 per shot. So I'm doing like 430, or more. So I was going to say too that this has no problem, penetrating the E75's bottom plate. And I'm going to go ahead, and that's even at angles. I've actually, whenever I was in the E75, I always got pinned, in the front plate by this tank. And I don't know why, but when I come around this corner, I was going to go ahead and say, I was going to talk about how on World of Tanks right now, the armor has been unreliable. Meaning, like, for instance, I had a game yesterday where I was in the tier 10, was it IS-7? And people were pinning me on my upper plate that shouldn't have been. There was people pinning me on the bottom plate. And I even got pinned on the turret once, which was just, that's impossible. I mean, if you look at any video online, it shows like Waffen Tiger shooting, you know, endless amounts of shots, you know, at the top of it. So, you know, you got to be careful in games in that if you're getting hit in your front plate, you got to change your tactics. Like on this one, I'm not really too worried because I have the speed here. So, speaking of IS-8s, right here, people have been telling me, you know, on my last video I did that I should be more aggressive with it. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you know, go online and look up the IS-8. So they're about ready to cap the base. I'm going to head down there, and I think I'm pretty much the fastest tank and probably the most capable to take out a heavy. I can see that there's two, so I'm kind of like, this is going to suck. Anyway, I forgot what I was actually talking about originally. It doesn't really matter. It was about, you know, armor not being reliable. So we got two IS-6s, you know, which is crazy. You know, two IS-6s. And yeah, I'm gonna be able to take these guys out because 150 millimeter front plate is actually better than the IS-8. So let's just talk about how this was put into this game as a medium, but it's really a heavy tank. It was considered to be a heavy. It just, its weight makes it a medium. I think that they you know, Germans didn't have that many mediums, so they had to add in something. So they turned this heavy tank. Seriously, if you look it up online, it was never considered a medium. They kept the weight low on it, but in reality, they actually were going for what would be best to compete with the American, you know, Sherman tank. And we're talking the late model Sherman. And this was it, you know, the Panther, Panther II. I believe this is a prototype that was never actually, you know, manufactured, but I do believe it did see some battle towards the end of the war, the prototype. And you can see here me using some guesstimation. I'm pretty sure this guy was like, it shows I'm not detected if he had 6th sense, or maybe he doesn't have it. But as soon as I found that spot, I just kept firing until I got him. I've gotten a lot of kills that way. But, you know, so there's one more kill left in this game for me. So 3 kills in this game. Yeah, I was going to go ahead and say that this is where this thing performs, like I said, like a medium. You know, is it speeds like a medium, but its armor's like a heavy. To have 30 more than the IS-8 just goes and proves my point. There are tanks out there that are classified as heavies that are not. The IS-8 is a heavy medium. It's not designed to go head to head with tanks. It's designed to get there, hold ground until support can come, you know, like for instance a KV or something with a lot of armor can come up and take over. That's why it's so fast. And then this one was actually a heavy that had, they dropped the weight on it and they threw the same power plant that's in the, you know, just an incredible power plant. And so here we go. I'm going to try and do a medium circle here. And what I mean is that I use my speed to get up to the guy and then flank around the back of him and get a couple of shots on his weak armor. Now I'm pretty aware that I can shoot his turret, but usually it's the facing turret that he's got. So if you look, he's facing me. He ends up hitting me. As I made that corner, I lost so much speed, I just eventually went for the turret in the front, which 250 is up close like that will definitely pin that. But yeah, so like I said, you know, if you try and circle a tank in this, you're not going to be able to do it. Why? It's a heavy medium, just like the IS-8 is a heavy, or is a you know, medium heavy if you really want to know. So yeah, this is one of my favorite tanks. I can't wait to get the E-50M just because it gives you more hit points and it has a little bit better turret armor to be, you know, 185 is plenty though. Anyway, yeah, you know, I always put help or something like that other than awesome or good game. I was actually surprised I did so much damage. Now I did get Make It Rain, which is a perk that gives you 1.25. Excuse me. And of course we're going to go through and look at everything I got. So I've been pretty sick this last week. I don't know what it is, but I haven't been sick for 7 days in a row since I can't remember, but it's moved into my chest now, so if I sound a little weird, that's why. And of course that clip of me ammo racking that that VK 30B or whatever it is, 3002B. You know, and then look at look at the points difference. Just devastating these guys. Anyway, that's all the time I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment, like, and subscribe, and have a good one. Later.